Generic greetings and welcome to Construction plus Prison-Arcitect plus Alpha 13 episode 3. In the previous episode we got all of these foundations laid as well as all of the rooms populated so they actually function. So we have a visitation area with 3 visitor tables, we have a workshop which can staff a maximum of 20 prisoners, although in reality at the moment we probably only want to put about 10 in because 4 on the saws, 4 on the presses and then 2 to carry stuff around. Let me pause it for a second. We have a storage area and a water pump in there because that's the ideal place to put it. I'll explain why in a moment. We have 2 power stations, a couple of power stations for, again, reasons I'll explain in a moment. A kitchen with a couple of cookers, couple of fridges, canteen with similarly a couple of serving tables, couple of bench and table sets, laundry, we've got a couple of laundry machines, couple of ironing boards, a lot of couples in this. We have a cleaning cupboard up here and one down here, so you could say a couple of cleaning cupboards. We have our offices over here, which the warden's is slightly bigger because he's the warden after all, and also I didn't have anything else to fill it with. Infirmary as well, with a morgue up here, which if I go to planning, you actually see the walls, which we will put in eventually, but not yet, I don't have the cash. We have a solitary area down here as well as one planned for up here. We have our main cell block here, which can house 15 prisoners at the present time. However, we can have another 7 in if required or when required. We have a common room here with only a couple of things in it. A big shower, which I need to put a bench in, as well as more shower heads. And finally, a holding cell over here. We have planned another cell block there, another cell block there, another cell block there, and another solitary common room, shower, and holding cell respectively. We also have our yard here, which is quite actually hard to see. Let me just unpause it for a second. This fence going round, just to reiterate, will become a perimeter wall once I have the money. However, because it's so expensive, it's something that I will do later because at the moment, far too expensive. Let me just go to my deployment. Go to staff only these 2 areas there. There's been a couple of changes since the last episode, and the primary reason for it, some of it's due to feedback, but the primary reason is because the save game corrupted, so I had to load a previous save, which is about 15 minutes behind the end of the last video, so I've sort of retrofitted the prison to become what I put it back to how I pretty much had it, like we ended the last video. However, because there was a couple of mistakes, I did fix it. So, for example, the common room, I overspent in it, and I realised that I put too many TVs, I put too many phone booths, etc. And the fact is that it's very hard to waste money in the game. And what I mean by waste is spending money on something that will just not have any purpose whatsoever, like a bookshelf. That is a waste of money. It does nothing in the game as far as I'm aware. Same as unlocking the lawyer or that sort of thing. They don't do anything yet. So that's how you waste money. But you can also spend money in the wrong places, which is what I tend to do. So I bought too many TVs, too many phone booths, and then didn't have enough money for the solitary doors over here, which I had to then use normal doors, which I've sort of resolved. I've put solitary doors on these ones here, and eventually I'll put them all the way down there as well. So I spent the money in better places this time, which is one of my primary downfalls, sadly. But you know, we've got it done enough. I've put a couple of doors in the workshop here because I've got this area staff only, as you can see from my deployment, because I want like a buffer where the prisoners can't really get out to this bit. So I'm going to have this bit here and this bit here. I'm going to put doors there as well at some point and have this whole line of staff only. The way they get through visitation, sadly, is going to be through the workshop, so it's going to be a little bit annoying because I'm going to have the workshop always open, and it means I'm going to have some metal detectors here as well, which I don't have metal detectors anywhere along the prison, which is going to be a very, very big problem. I'm going to lock open these doors here because these doors will be for the cleaning cupboard as well as the canteen. We'll lock them open. We're also going to lock open the kitchen and probably, not a good idea, but probably these doors here as well. Now, the reason I'm doing that is because the kitchen staff, which I am going to hire now, the cooks, 1, 2, as well as guards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. The reason, there we go, and that's that last grant fulfilled. Yes, the reason I've unlocked these is because I want, the kitchen is a straight shot to the storage, and the storage is a straight shot to the deliveries, as you can see. I guess I've also put these little lines here as well to make this more of a bit of a buffer zone as well. As if I go to deployment, you can see that's what I mean by that. Yes, so the deliveries is pretty much a straight shot to the kitchen. However, when I've got large jail doors which they cannot open in the way, it's a bit of a problem. That's one of the downfalls of this prison, that the kitchen, the only way to get to there is to go through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 large jail doors, which would take the cooks about 30 years to do, because they'd have to wait for the guards to come and open it. So I'm going to lock them open like so, and we shall see what happens. In fact, let me go staff only all these areas and that area there. In fact, I need to staff only the kitchen. However, I can't because it is not separated off, which I will now resolve by doing that. There we go. So yes, I need to put in a couple of things in here, the metal detectors there and there, as well as around this workshop, because people will attempt to escape in this one. That's something that just generally happens. We're going to get prisoners in a couple of hours. Now, I've been really racking my brain figuring out which type of prisoners we're going to get. I originally was going to go with low-risk prisoners, because someone suggested a sort of dystopian type prison where even the smallest of crimes, or the pettiest of crimes, gets you slammed in a hellhole like this. I really like the idea of that. That really resonates. But sadly, in reality, if I do that, I don't know how much the prisoners will try to escape or misbehave. I think they still will misbehave. I think there's a bit of a problem with that. There's a bit of a misunderstanding on the way prisoners work. In fact, let me just open up my low risk intake, and I'll explain why low risk. There's a couple of reasons why I'm going to do low risk at the moment. A lot of people say that low risk don't misbehave, and that's not necessarily the case. They do have a tendency to behave more and listen to you more. However, the main difference between low, medium, and high risk prisoners, as far as I'm aware, I could be wrong about this. I've been wrong once before, and several other times since. But the main risk is the main change is the boiling point. A low risk prisoner has a higher boiling point than a high-risk prisoner. A high-risk prisoner has a very low boiling point, and what that means is when their needs aren't fulfilled and they're really annoyed at it, they will become violent extremely quickly. It won't take much to push them over the edge, whereas a low-risk prisoner, it takes a lot to get them to kick off and fight, which is something that I don't want. I'm not all about the fighting in the prison. I was going to say I'm not against it, but I am against it. I don't want fighting in the prison. That's not the point. What I want to do is run a harsh-ish type prison. So that's one of the comments as well. Why have I got a common room if I'm running a really harsh hellhole type prison? Why have I got a common room at all? Why am I actually trying to fulfill their needs of recreation and comfort and that sort of thing? Because I think there's another misunderstanding here as well. If I go to my policy, you can see I can actually set things for escape attempts, attacking staff, and found drugs and things on them. And if I go to my needs, you can see I've currently got nothing. But the normal way to win the game, when I use the term win very likely, is to fulfill their needs here. If these are fulfilled, they will go about their daily business without any harm. They won't be trying to stab people or escape, or they might try to escape if there's an opportunity. They might try to blitz attempt, but they won't just try to, they won't just be doing all really bad things. So you can see there's the needs coming in here. So we've got needs to be fulfilled. In fact, I've just realised I haven't actually set up my policy, so I'll pause it for a second. But yes, the needs are something you can fulfill, whereas if you run a really daft hellhole, really harsh hellhole, you can put them in solitary for any reasons, and that keeps them suppressed. And that's now another way of sort of running your prison, keeping them suppressed so these needs are sort of ignored. The bladder, bowels, sleep, and food are still required. You still need to fulfill them, but other things like family and recreation, that sort of thing, they really, you can sort of ignore them now by just suppressing them, by putting them in solitary, but that really does require a very, I've been playing around with this, and it does require it's a very delicate operation. There's a fine line between the prison going into a riot and you suppressing them. It's very difficult to pull off, at least in my experience anyway. So what I'm going to be doing is running how I would see a very harsh prison being, which is, you have a common room. This is my interpretation of this type of harsh prison. There's several different interpretations, I'm sure, but the way I'm going for is we have this prison, and we have a common room with all the bells and whistles you would expect, TVs, phone booths, etc., to fulfill the needs. If any of them at all do any of these, it's going to be search everything, solitary for like 6 hours. So if you're happy and you're nice to people, you don't stab anyone, you don't try to escape, you don't try to steal anything, then don't worry about it. You have all the privileges of any other prisoner. If you break any of them, then well done. Welcome to solitary time. Population you're going to be sitting in here for a long time. That's what I'm going to go for. I'm not going to go for the I'm not going to go for a prison which is, I'm not, like, not fulfilling these, and if they moan about it, bang, straight in there, because the complaint isn't in this list. Although, I read, it was in the Alpha 13 video, complaint was here, but it's not in this, so I don't know. If you know the answer, then please, by all means, put it in the comments, because I can't find any solution. Right, so yes, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to fulfill the needs as usual. If any of them complain, bosh, you're in solitary for probably 6 hours. I'm going to set up this policy bit in a moment. And what I'm going to do now is go to my regime and just clear the regime. I'm going to copy the regime over from my previous prison because it seems to work. I do like that, but I'm going to just alter it slightly once we've got a couple of prisoners in. So the first couple is going to be sleep time, so it's believed 12 till 4. I've just realised they've actually put lines in here on this regime, which is something new for Alpha 13. It looks exactly like my notepad, which I'm holding right in front of me now. They allow me to copy this over. So then we've got shower, then I'm just doing this from memory here, free, and then it's eat, isn't it? It's 2 hours of eat, and then it's 2 hours of free. And then, you know what, I can put that notepad down because I know what it is. Actually, I've totally messed that up. It's that. There we go. All the way to 6 o'clock. And then we have 2 hours of free, 2 hours of eat, and then 1 hour of free. There we go. And we can unpause that. So yes, that's our regime. And here come our low-risk prisoners. I'm going to be altering this regime based on what happens in here. I really want to expand the workshop time. I want to have a workshop there and have it a big solid... Basically, I'm going to stretch these prisoners as far as they can take it. Now, the thing with low-risk prisoners is they can take it or they won't complain and kick off as much. See that? Look, they are actually complaining. They have needs and such. And any of these... Is he holding a knife? He is holding a knife, say family. Well then. Yes, so they will still complain and such, but they won't kick off as much. Now, whether or not I'm sticking with low-risk prisoners all the way through the series is something that will be debated and changed and altered because in the previous prison, I started off with a low-risk type of prisoner. Well, I started off with normal risk, and then I progressed over to my high-risk prisoners, which is what we had in the end, which was fine because these are our these are our alpha testers. These are our alpha test patients. We can test the prison out, see how it functions with these, and then go over to a high-risk type of prisoner. And the reason I do that is because, I'll be honest, I tested this with high-risk prisoners before I started recording. It took them 3 hours to completely kick off and start to burn down the workshop as well as the cells. Because when they turn up, they have a lot of needs and they just will not be they will not tolerate anything. I put 3 of them in solitary for fighting. 1 of them died, and then the whole workshop set on fire, and then it was pretty much end of series because all this prison pretty much burnt down. I didn't have any money, and it was terrible. And it looks like the danger level is actually rising on these prisoners anyway, so that could probably happen. But it's less likely to happen. So yes, maybe at a later stage in the series, once we've got these built and we know how things are actually progressing, let me lock this open. I may actually transition over to a higher risk of prisoner. That might be a good thing to do, but it'll be based on your feedback. A lot of people didn't like the idea of this low risk, and I understand that. You know, like I say, I try to read every single comment. And see what the general vibe is, and the vibe seems to be that we should do high risk or do a completely mixed prison, so we have a bit of everything in it. Which I like that idea as well, because that sort of fits in with the I like the idea of the dystopian, any crime, you go to prison for that. Straight away, it doesn't matter who you are, what crime you committed, you're in the same prison, it's the same harshness. So having a fully mixed prison, so any medium, sort of low risk, high risk, and medium risk prisoners all work, or that works for that sort of theme. However, having Low risk just works. Having high risk, that just turns this into a just high risk prison, which I'm not against. I don't have any problem with that, but it's something I want to avoid until I've nailed down and squished all the bugs, because this alpha especially introduces a lot more in terms of gameplay, because you've got the escapes, you've also got the policy and stuff, which I still have to sort out. One thing I've forgot to really mention is about escapes. The reason I've got my utilities like this, and the reason I've got my water pump here, is because I've got the water pipes going here. Now they will eventually dig along these pipes. I've been told, I don't know how accurate this is, that they currently don't do that, but I don't know. I don't know if that's true or not. I think they do. I'm pretty sure I saw in the alpha video that they do tunnel along water pipes, and it was mentioned. So they will tunnel along these, which is why they now go in towards the center rather than out to a corner, because that would, basically, if they're going to try and dig a tunnel, they're going to have to do all the hard work themselves. The reason I've got 2 power stations is because once I've got 20 pieces of equipment in here, as well as all of this area here, the kitchen sorted, as well as the laundry, etc. Once I've got all of that done, this one power plant will barely cope, and then trying to add all of this bottom bit and all this top bit will probably blow it up. So I thought I'll build another power station to power the bottom bit and the top bit, and this one will power the center bit. I think I explained that, but I'd like to reiterate this point now. I know there's been a couple of comments saying that, you should have just ran the power cable down there and saved yourself a lot of money. Well, yes, I could, but I was sort of thinking ahead because I don't like to rewire everything and it'd be a big pain. There's my comment on that. So, we're now at work time, which should get the prisoners actually functioning and working, but I haven't yet assigned them to anything, so I'm going to go to deployment, jobs, and assign 1 to each of there, and probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 to there, then 1, 2, 3, 4. That's all 14 prisoners working. They're not going to like it. I don't really care. They're going to have to do it. I'm just really hoping they don't kick off. Just checking their needs, yeah. When I got all the high-risk prisoners, their needs were, actually like that. They're actually quite high. Yeah, that danger level's rising. I might just unassign these prisoners from... I might actually go to reports. Let me go to my regime a second. Go to free time and just assign this to free time for the time being, just to get these guys settled in, because even though it's a nice idea to say, no, you will work, yes, you are in my prison, if it kicks off and they start kicking it down, well, then it's their prison and they take it over. So, yeah. Like I say, this policy system which I'm now going to sort out, this is a really big deal when it comes to this thing. The Alpha 13 brings this in, and this is a massive deal, actually, because it allows you to run the prison in a more of a harsher way than you otherwise would have been able to do so. The way to win the game, and I use that term very loosely, was to fulfill these needs. However, if you do the policy, and anything here, bosh, you get solitary, they're now suppressed, they don't need more, they don't really require these needs fulfilled apart from a couple of the top ones. That's how the game can work. However, I've never been successful in doing it when I've been testing it privately. What I am going to do, however, is keep it harsh. So, these needs are fulfilled, you break anything, you steal anything, you want to do anything outside of what I say you can do, bosh, solitary. So, destruction, you get solitary 6 hours. Escape attempt, you get solitary 12 hours. In solitary, you attack a prisoner, solitary, you get 8 hours. Attacked staff, you get solitary 12 hours. Maybe that's a little bit harsh. We'll make that 8 hours, and we'll make attack prisoner 6 hours. Destruction, maybe we'll make it 4 hours. Serious injury, yeah. Solitary, I think 6 hours. Yeah, I think that's about right. Found weapons, guess what? Solitary, 2 hours. Found tools, solitary, 2 hours. Found drugs, solitary, 1.5 hours. No, let's change that 2 hours. And found luxuries, 2 hours. In fact, you know what? 3 hours for the lot. There we go. So, that's our nice, sort of harsh policy. I would say that's harsh enough, right? That seems harsh enough to me. Right, looks like my danger level is increasing. It is still low, which is okay, but it is increasing. 4 prisoners have serious complaints, 1 say they're well treated. If I just check my needs for a second, if the game will let me. Needs, we can see that they're taking care of most of these, but the food and the sleep are the biggest problems. Let me just check this out. That looks like it's going okay. I'm going to put work into... Are they sorted? Are they about right? You know what? That is about right, I think. Let me go to work. Shove that back to work time. There we go. So they can work for at least a couple of hours. They're going to go to the workshop and do all that. Like I said, I haven't put any metal detectors in, which is something that I definitely will be doing. Don't worry about it. There's going to be metal detectors all over this place. In the canteen is the main place where, because they always go in the canteen. The workshop, I'm going to put them indoors here, probably. I will also put them probably at the entrance here, but I don't know. What I'm trying to do is the previous one, I did it so it was quite... you couldn't get away with anything. At all. Like, it was total lockdown. Anywhere you would go through, everywhere, even going into your own cell block, even going into the workshop, going into the canteen, going anywhere... you would get metal detected. That was something that I had in the previous Alpha 12 prison. The Alpha 13 one, this one, I'm going to not put as many metal detectors. I'm going to put metal detectors in the canteen, maybe a couple around the workshop, but that's about it. We're going to be doing more of a manual search type thing, searching the cells and such and doing that sort of thing. Sadly, dogs aren't in this alpha, which would smell things like narcotics, because things that are smelly dogs can smell them. Dogs, Alpha 14, hopefully. We shall see. Right, so it looks like they're actually working in the workshop. Let me take that guard and put one in there. In fact, I'm going to go to my deployment, my guards on patrol, and set patrol route like so. Actually, I'll cut the bottom 3 off, top and bottom 3, and then assign a guard to that, to that area. That's how you assign guards now. There we go. And I'm also going to go to my canteen and assign a guard to patrol, just like that, actually. Like that. Assign a guard to that now, and we can probably go to the laundry. No, we don't need someone in the laundry, that's fine. However, we do need someone in the cell block, so we're going to have them patrol like that. There we go, and then assign a guard to that, and I think that will do us. We have now 3 guards assigned, and that should probably do us. He's complaining about freedom. 5 prisoners have serious complaints, none saying they're well treated. The problem I have is that no matter what I do, I'm not going to be able to alter this, because most of them are complaining about food, I believe. If I go to my reports, it's food and sleep that they require. Yes, it's food and sleep that they require. They also need to have a bit of clothing need. The only way I can fulfill the clothing need is by doing the laundry, which I'm doing now. The only way I can fill the food need is to have the cooking, but that's later on in the day. I could move the regime, but nah, sack it. I think we'll be okay. We've only got another hour of work and then 2 hours of free and then eat. Let's say my plan eventually is to have work time there and there. I might even move this down to here and then have even more work time, but we shall see. It all depends on the type of prisoners we end up having. Like I say, I'm currently going with low risk to test the prison out, sort of alpha test it, as it were, if you want to call it that. Alpha test it, if you will. However, I might transition over. I have no real problem transitioning over to a medium, high risk, or my sort of preference at the moment is just everybody, a mixed prison. So just high risk, medium risk, low risk, just the lot. Bring the lot in. I think that might make it a bit of an interesting prison and still fits with the dystopian style design. Like I say, I haven't really got to grips with the policy system where you cannot fulfill certain needs like phone booths and TVs, etc. I really don't know how to do it. I really don't. I've had several hours practicing, looking at tutorials, reading up on it. It just seems to be really tricky to do, you know, not fulfilling things like recreation and such and just suppressing them by using this. It is possible, apparently. I don't know. If you know, if you have any ideas, then by all means post in the comments and that. I am not going to... I've never professed to be an expert at this game. I sort of don't think I ever will be. I enjoy the game and that's the main thing, but I'm no way, shape or form an expert at it, and I'm not even trying to claim to be one. So, anyway, free time. Looks like they're going to go and have a bit of common room time for themselves. Let me get that guard. I'll go in here. You can see I've locked these doors open. Looks like their needs going down. There we go. Oh, one prisoners are suppressed by complaint. Why? What's actually happened to get them suppressed? I don't understand. Suppressed? How are they suppressed? I don't know. Visitation, evaluation. We got any escapes? No, we've had no escapes so far. This is something I need to... This is the problem here. This door here opening up. Bit of a problem. Today's beverage is water, as it normally is. Let's force that door open for them. Looks like they're carrying the metal back and forward as normal. That's something we like to see. And we are going to start getting some money. and hopefully start expanding the prison and getting the needs fulfilled. Looks like 5 prisoners still have serious complaints, 1 are suppressed. I don't think most of them will be able to fulfill their need for the laundry because we didn't have time to really do it, sadly. I need to pave these areas so they're faster. There's a lot I need to do. The previous alpha, or the previous alphas, I guess, what I tend to do is make the prison work and then make it look good. In this one, it's going to be different. I'm going to have to furnish it and actually make it, put in the pathways and such and floors before we really move on to other things. At least put the paths in so they walk quicker. And things like, little things like the walls. Yes, and cleaning as well. We need to get more people cleaning. That's still rising. It's blatantly going to be for food, though, isn't it? Yeah, it's the food that's mainly the problem here. So they're going to come in, and they should be able to fulfill these needs. Although, where are the chefs? They're stuck outside. Urgh. That's going to slow the entire thing down by them. The chefs not taking. You're going to burn the bacon. Put the bacon on the trays. Let me guess. They're going to run out of food shortly. If this guy doesn't put that bacon, please put that out there. Fantastic. There we go. Yes, there we go. I bet this guy's stuck as well. That's a problem. That is a problem. Let me go to staff. No. Deployment. Patrols. There's the patrol. Someone's assigned to it now. You are the door opener, right? There we go. Done. What I've said before is really, why is it still rising? Why is it still rising? Oh, it's because of the sleep, I'm guessing. Yeah, the sleep. Right, they haven't got much time to eat, but it looks like they should be able to fulfill their needs here. That guy wants sleep. Looks like these guys are fulfilled, so that should be fine. Danger level's going down. Once they had a full day's sleep, we should be okay. We're going to get 432 generic credits, and then hopefully a couple of thousand from the workshop, which hopefully I can then get this area done. That's the plan. Get this area done so we can have a full cell block of, what, 22? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22 prisoners. Getting full 22 prisoners or around that area would be fantastic. We can put them in the holding cell if we need to, but not ideal, so we shall see what happens there. This guy, like I say, is now my door opener. One thing I mentioned previously, which I still think is a good idea, although for some reason it's become a bit of a feature of me suggesting changes, but and people seem to really like this one, but I think there should be a new type of door, something like electronic type door. I don't know what you would call it, but the actual gameplay feature is that it can be remotely opened. Obviously, at the moment, you can open all doors by right-clicking, but that's something that I know is not something that's going to be in the final release. He's already said, Chris has already said that what's going to happen is guards and stuff, you can move them around manually. He doesn't want that. He wants everything to be autonomous. So you not be able to click on a guard, you tell it to do and it goes and does it. I'm guessing the reason why you can manually move them around at the moment is because of, alpha game is alpha, and it's the only way to really manually do things and resolve things if there's a problem. Same as manually opening doors. That's something that I'm guessing is not going to be in the final game, or at least I wouldn't expect it to, and I'm pretty sure he said it's not going to be. But having a remotely opened door would be quite good. So you have, say, for example, CCTV, and the doors on the CCTV, as long as... Oh, here's our money. Please be at least $1,000. That's not enough. That is nowhere near enough. $1,503. Is that it? That's not even enough to really furnish a couple of cells. Never mind. How many am I going to be able to furnish with this? Not many at all. You know what? What I'm going to do is put a bed there and a bed there, and that's it. Because because if I furnish these two, and then I furnish the holding room, the holding cell a bit, because I have a feeling that whoever turns up in the next couple of hours, or the next time, which is 8 prisoners, they're going to have to spend a lot of time in this holding cell until we can make more money in the workshop. But this day, we should get a fair amount of money. Let me just speed the game up. But yes, a door that can... There we go, that guy's doing his job by opening doors. The whole thing about doors that can be remotely opened, I think would be quite good. Say, for example, they maybe cost more. So if I made this a remote door or something, have that door have the ability to be remotely opened by a guard. If you have a CCTV thing here and it can see the door or whatever, anyone in that CCTV room or signed in the security room can press a button that you be able to place and then that'll be able to open this door remotely. I think that would be a good feature. So, for example, you could have this door and these two doors, for example, remote. And then say if this is my CCTV area, we have another type of console in there called door control or something. And say, for example, someone comes up to this door, they might be able to press an intercom or press a button or whatever. Or even more probable, as long as the CCTV camera can see this door and see someone trying to get through it. Because normally when someone goes up to a door, it gets queued. Like, for example, we'll see it here. This guy's going to... Oh, no, because he's a guard. If I tell this workman to go here, for example, he's going to go there. Then a task is required... It is assigned to a guard, and then that guard then fulfills that task by opening the door. And he'll do it again. There you go. But say, for example, that guy comes up to here, and then a task is assigned to open that door. If the CCTV can see it, a guard in the CCTV area can then manually open the door. That he can be assigned that task. I think instead of a guard having to manually, walk all the way there and then open the door and then the guy come through and basically the guard having to trudge across the entire prison. I like that. I think that would be I think that's an interesting idea. Just my opinion, anyway. Just my 2 cents. Spending the last 20 minutes explaining it. But yes, let's plumb these toilets in, shall we? But going back to what I was on about with this area here, I've put the beds in here because I have a feeling that there's going to be a couple of people stuck in solitary for at least 1 full day. We're going to get another 8 prisoners, yeah, another 8 prisoners, which is not good because I can't actually do these ones. I haven't even got the doors on these ones to fulfill them as a prison, as a cell block even. That's not good. These aren't even a cell because the door. I can't even afford the doors. I can technically afford them, but if I put them on, all I'm going to do is put myself to 35 generic credits. And having only 35 generic credits is not good. Because then I can't afford any more steel for the workshop, etc, etc. So, guess what? All of these people that are going to come in are going to live in the holding cell, which means I'm going to dismantle these beds in favour of moving them over to this holding cell, because you can just happily use a holding cell. They will sort of be okay in there as long as they can get the rest of their needs fulfilled. It'll sort of be all right. If you have enough beds in the holding cell for the amount of prisoners you're getting, then it is technically feasible to just have holding cells. I have tried it before and it does work. Although, to be fair, I'm going to get 8 prisoners and the maximum I can really comfortably hold in this holding cell is 4. So, yeah. Not great, but there we go. Job done. We're going to have that holding cell for the time being until I can do this. The reason I haven't got much money is because, obviously, I only just received prisoners last episode. Last day. The previous day. Because we're only on day 6. But in day 5 we received our prisoners. Let me just cancel that off. There we go. Yes, we received our prisoners and they had a couple of hours work. I had to also change their needs so they were trying to get fulfilled and, not kick off. But, as you can see from my regime now, guess what? Back to normal scheduling. Lots of work time, lots of money, hopefully. At least enough money to get this prison rolling, which is the idea. Oh, look at that canteen. It's actually nice and clean. And it looks like the cooks have actually placed some stuff, which is nice. They're not using the bottom one down here, which I was told about. Apparently they do want to use just one of them. Well, whatever. Anyway, that guy is that guard there. That guard is door guard. He is key guard, whatever you would like to call him. He opens the doors. That's all he does. If I could probably just lock that shut and make that normal now and just lock him in. Now he's got some cabin fever. Just 4 doors around him. What do I do? Right, let me go to my deployment and guards and unassign a guard from there and there and there, because we're about to get prisoners now. Here we go. There we go. Prisoners. And I'm going to go to my prisoners and close the intake. Is anyone White? Walter White, maybe. Is it White? Where's Mr. White? Mr. White is there. Jonathan White, okay. Anyone else that I recognise in here? Parent, Dudley, Eaton Jones, Hoy Briggs. What? Who's that? Maywood? No. Broomfield? No. No one I really recognise. But yes, we now have a total of 22 prisoners of the maximum of 15 that I can actually handle. Oops. It's not a problem. It's not a problem at all. We're fine. We're fine. We can. That's fine. There's no problem at all. Right. Excuse me while I take a sip of my delicious beverage. More importantly, it's cool and refreshing. So yes, we're going to be fulfilling the needs as much as we can. But if they do boot off, if they do think that they know better, then they get a lot of solitary for their trouble. Which, to be fair, I hope no more than a couple actually do it, because we haven't got that much solitary. But anyway, like I say, the policy thing is completely new and something I have really not got my head around. I'll, doing my best. Like I say, if you know of the way to, do it the most, then put in the comments. Like I say, I've played about with it for at least 8 hours. I would say about 10 hours I've put in to try and mess around with policy in different types of prisons. It always seems to go wrong. But I don't know. I've read every tutorial and watched every video under the sun, and I still can't fix it, but whatever. It might be because Alpha Game is Alpha. More likely it's because I'm a moron. Anyway, yes, our needs are, as you can see, not great now because we've just got some more prisoners, and that's just something that always happens. Let me just put that guy... Why are you not... Hang on. One moment. Pretty sure I unassigned that guard. Not as sure as I am now. How do you unassign guards now? Unassign. Oh, you have to actually click on the symbol. Alright then. Alright, fair enough. Yeah, to assign guards to patrols, click on an existing patrol square. So I'd have to actually click on that and it assigns them, but I didn't know you have to right click to unassign them from that. Yeah. You know something. Now I know something. Actually, I don't need that guy on patrol there. I can actually unassign that, but just assign a guard to there. There we go. That's better. That's probably better. He's now stationed there. He can wander around himself, although he's... What's he do? There we go. Thank you for opening that door. Very well done. Very well done. Are you going to do these ones? No, you're going to just wait around, aren't you? Whatever. Anyway, so we got 22 prisoners of 15. We have most of them in the holding cell. Not that it's a massive problem, although it means 4 of them aren't going to be sleeping tonight, which is probably going to be the main cause of violence and complaints. I really wish the policy had complaints in there. Like I say, I still don't know why. But we've got the whole thing on here. If anyone does any of these, they get searched as well as their cell. There's a full search on this one, absolutely full search. So, work time, this is when we're going to get some money, and I think we'll be okay. Once I've got some money, I will furnish the cells. Well, these cells here, I'm going to put beds in, toilets, and put the doors in all the way along. I will also probably move these beds over to here, although it depends how much money I get. I then need to start putting metal detectors in the canteen, primarily in the canteen anyway. We could put them other places, but no, the main place is the canteen. I also need to unlock my contraband. If I got to do bureaucracy, you can see I need to unlock contraband and CCTV and groundskeeping at a minimum. Cloning, I don't really need to do it. Land expansion, I don't need to do that either. No point in expanding the land if I have nowhere to expand to, or no reason to expand there, should I say. Need to put in these here, need to put in all of the walls, need to probably... Actually, I've just realised, deployment, jobs, guess what? 1, 2... I've got another, how many prisoners? Another 8 prisoners. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. There we go. Everybody's now assigned jobs. Fantastic. I really need the laundry to start working, which looks like it is. Fantastic. Excellent. So yes, there's still a long way to go. The previous 2 prisons have been relatively hassle-free, bug-free, violence-free. Well, they have been completely violence-free. And there's been no bumps in the road. This one, it's been a little bit bumpy, even from the get-go, really. This new policy system with escapes and such. Could be interesting. So, next episode we will be doing pretty much everything I mentioned about actual design-wise. We will also be doing a shakedown of the entire prison. I haven't done it yet because I wanted to get their needs sorted. And also if I manage to sort any of the policy system out, as well as sort any other little niggles like this out, I will go for that. So, next episode. Comments in the comments on this one and next. Just put comments, whatever. Thank you very much for watching. Take care. Generic Partings.